Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's time for Game 4 from ZvT Cup 152. The players are going to be the blue Terran player in the bottom right-hand corner. His name is Empire.Kas, and his opponent is the red Zerg player in the top left-hand corner of Belshir Vestige, LiquidTLO. And this is now Game 4. The little one is up 2 games in this series, but the last game, I think the little one dropped the ball. Not really dropped the ball. He tried to go for an early aggression 6-pool. It didn't work out, and Kas was able to retaliate and win the game. So now it is 2-1, and Kas has to win the next 2 games in a row, including this one. So this one and the next one, in order to win the series. The little one only needs to win 1 more. And I've got to say, the map Belshir Vestige, this is one of my favorite maps in Heart of the Swarm. It's such a cool map. You see a lot of late game scenarios, but you also see a lot of cool things going on with all these ridges and whatnot. I do think it might be a little bit more Terran favored against Zerg than vice versa. I think, you know, Zerg has a hard time on this map is what I'm trying to say. Simply because there isn't that much open space to romp around and, you know, get your surrounds going and all that stuff. And the more cliffs and ledges there are, I think the more it favors a Terran player. So that's one thing that probably Kas is feeling a little bit comfortable with on this map. Probably chose this map as Lizard most likely does pick. And Kas here is going for a Reaper opening, and I think that's a good idea. You know, last game he just got basically cheesed by a 1-base 6 pool. You've got to be aware of that possibility happening again, and Kas is just gonna play it safe and go for a Reaper opening. And I really don't think that the you know, the trade-off between going for a Reaper opening and going for a CC first is that great, because you gotta consider when you go for a Reaper opening, you get scouting information, and that's something that Terran players traditionally don't get against Zerg in the early game. Usually they'll go CC first, or they'll have to wait until they get a Hellion out in order to scout the Zerg player. But I think a Reaper opening just, you know, yeah, you lose a little economy, but I think the trade-offs are well worth it, and that's the reason why this has become the most predominant opening now in Terran versus Zerg. But anyways, yeah, the little one is going for a hatchery here, so we won't be seeing a 6-pool. He is going for a spawning pool in the background, which is what you'd expect. And I'm really curious to see if the little one is going to play a macro game, going to go open up for a hatchery, or if he's going to try for like a Roach Baneling attack, or maybe a Nidus, or, you know, quick Spire. The possibilities really are endless with the little one. I've also seen him go for quick Swarm Host as well, in conjunction with Nidus. So yeah, you gotta be prepared. We'll see what happens. Though one Overlord has actually floated its way already to the back of the Terran Natural and main before a Marine could come out, because there's actually a second Reaper on the way. So the little one will get a little bit of scouting information in the back of the Terran base. One Reaper is now on its way over to the Zerg Natural. And this Reaper, as long as it stays off creep, will not take much hits from these Zerglings at all. But the problem here is Kas has to make up a decision. Does he attack Zerglings, you know, get a couple kills here or there, or does he go for a scout and find out what's going on in the main base? And it looks like he's biding his time right here, trying to pick up as many units as he can. And then maybe just bait these queens out a little bit and then try to hop into the main base. The only thing though is on this map you actually have to go this way to go into the main. You cannot hop from here up into the up here, because it's actually a double ledge. But he is going to try to take a bit of a shortcut, and now he is inside the main base. So he'll be able to scout and see what's going on. We'll have a lot of drones getting pulled off the line here. The little one does not want to let these Reapers see the Roach Warren in the background, and I think he was successful in doing so. He prevented the scout of the Roach Warren back there, and that's huge. I think the little one here is preparing once again for another Roach attack, and he really didn't want to let those Reapers see it, which, you know, to me says he's definitely trying to keep that Roach Warren hidden. He wants to try to go for a Roach attack. And he does have 4 Roaches now on the way. Now keep your eyes on that production tab. If he doesn't produce any drones, which he's producing 1 right now, I was gonna say if he doesn't produce like a lot of drones, then he's definitely gonna go for an attack. But if he decides to drone up, then he'll probably look to just expand and use the Roaches defensively. It really kind of depends on you know, how he feels about this front door. Unfortunately for the little one, he hasn't really been able to scout the front door at all, so he doesn't know what type of defenses he's up against. As far as he knows, it's completely in the dark right now. He finally gets the Overlord in, and now he's going to start to see, oh, okay, you've got Widow Mines, you've got a bunker. And as soon as he saw that, he produced a bunch of drones. So I think the little one now is going to say, all right, I'm not going to try to break down this front door. you know, with like a 2-base all-in, but I will apply a little bit of pressure here, see what I can get done, and in the meantime, look to get an expansion down, which is what this drone is going to become right now. And so here come the roaches. They are going to run in, about 4 roaches, in fact, but the problem is, you know, there's a lot of forces here. I don't know, overall, these roaches probably won't get that much damage done, but what the little one is utilizing these for right now is just to prevent mining from happening at the natural. And so he's trying to bide his time, and prevent SCVs from mining at this location, and the longer he can hold this off for, the better. And with 3 roaches, he can one-shot SCVs. As you guys can see so far, he's doing a great job of doing that. In fact, he's killed off 3 SCVs already, and finally the Marauder comes out. So the Roach army is going to get picked off, but I think that was well worth it for the little one. You know, he didn't kill off that many workers, and he didn't kill off that many army units, but the mining time loss at the natural expansion is pretty large. I mean, it's significant. A lot of SCVs were just redundantly mining at this oversaturated location when they could have been mining over here. So the little one buys himself an eco advantage here, and I do believe we are going to take things into the mid game. No early aggression, no super early craziness from either player. And we can see the little one is preparing to go for what seems to be Roach Baneling and Speedlings. And we'll see if he decides to go for a Spire or not, or if he sticks to the ground and, you know, gets Infestors and Swarm Hosts. Either or is quite good against Terran. That Widowmine was picked off, but we have a Hellion coming in. I thought that was a medevac, but it is a Hellion coming in here, looking to do a little bit more damage. And both players, I've got to say so far, to start things off on Belshir Vestige, have kept things very cool, very calm. They haven't lost a severe chunk of their army or their drones or anything like that. I mean, it feels like in all the games so far there's been some craziness going on in the beginning, but this one seems to be a little bit more standard. And the little one he's gearing up for the late game, man. He's got a macro hatchery coming in now, and I like what Kas is doing. I really like how he's not just going all out mech, he's going back to bio. And he's basically forcing the little one to, you know, adapt his strategy, because a lot of Terran players, you know, they get stuck. They get stuck going all bio or all mech, but Kas is switching it up here. The only thing though is the little one is preparing for a massive run by here. He's trying to go for an awkward timing, but I think Kas will be well prepared for this. I don't know if he's actually going to lose anything here. He's got Widow Mines, he's got bunkers. I really don't think the little one's awkward timing is going to be successful here, but he's going to try nevertheless. He's going to break through the supply depots, and here comes the Banelings and Zerglings, and in fact, Kas doesn't have combat shields researched yet. Oh my god, that was devastating. He lost a lot of Marines there. Now all the Zerglings are surrounding this bunker. The swarm has arrived, and I think the lack of combat shields really hurt the Terran army, because all Kas did was, you know, he used the stim, and then the Baneling detonations basically killed off his Marines in one shot. Now he's trying to keep this bunker alive, but it looks bleak. I don't think he's going to be able to do so. Combat shields finally finishes up, but I think it was a little bit too late. If he had combat shields earlier on in that engagement, I think it would have gone a little bit differently. Unfortunately for him, no, it was not the case. And now the little one once again with this unexpected attack. When you don't think it's coming, it comes. And now what will Kas do? Will he be able to hold on? Will he be able to stay alive? It's all about survival here, and I don't think it's looking good at all. I mean, part of Terran survival mechanics is being aggressive. He needs a medevac right now, and he needs to ship 8 Marines over and start picking off hatcheries. You know, when a Zerg is aggressive like this, a lot of times they don't have units back at home to defend, and Kas needs to take advantage of that. I hope he's getting a medevac out. He does have a medevac out. He needs to think about, you know, polarizing his forces, keeping some on defensive positions, keeping some on an offensive position. Unfortunately for Kas, it looks like the little one is already onto it. He's brought all of his units back home, in fact, and the Overlords are going to see the inbound medevac as well, so this hatchery is pretty much safe. Kas, unfortunately, is just not going to be able to get any damage done. That's the problem. And he's going to boost the medevac now over to the back of the 3rd. See what he can do back here, but I don't think it's going to get much accomplished, and Kas has really fallen behind in this game. Look at the workers. He's got 30 under 73. He's lost 32 SCVs already, and the little one is just, I mean, this is his playground now. He can do whatever he wants, I feel like. The only thing I will say, though, is Kas, he was able to make a pretty sick comeback in the first game of this series. So I don't think the little one should get completely complacent here, because Kas has shown that he knows how to come back, even though it looks like things are really, really down and out for him. And he's actually going to launch this attack here with, you know, Widow Mines and Marines, 1-1 Marines. But there's a lot of Banelings here. Man, that's a lot of Banelings. And he actually ends up surviving the Baneling detonations, I think. But so many Zerglings are coming through now. That's going to pretty much put this attack, you know, stop this attack in its tracks. And Kas continues to fall behind, 82 supply to 133, but he's not given up yet. He's shipping over 2 new medevacs. Meanwhile, the Marines over here forced to engage the Zerglings, I guess. They are about to finish 2-2, which is going to help significantly. But how much really of a dent is it going to put into the little one? Just an upgrade advantage? Not really much, I don't think. Now this drop might be able to get him back in the game if he can get behind the drone line. There are some Zerglings and Banelings he has to be careful about. Oh, he picks up his Marines just in time and now starts to unload them one at a time. Very smart there, but no, he doesn't pick up the Marines. He had 4 or 5 of them on the ground, and that Baneling detonation took them out. And once again, Kas still trying to make this attack work. But every time, every direction he goes, he just runs into a swarm of Zerglings and Banelings. And, I mean, it's starting to get a little ridiculous, although these Widow Mines are doing a ton of damage. 15 kills on that mine before it finally was taken out. But yeah, you know, I know what Kas is trying to do right now. He realizes, alright, I can't just afford to sit back, wait for a big army, and then roll out. I've got to keep trying to make these pokes work, you know, dropping, attacking different locations. I understand what he's trying to do, but, you know, I feel like the little one is so prepared for it. Look, he's got forces, like, at every hatchery. Maybe not this one, but he's got forces almost everywhere, just well prepared for any possible attack. Now, this is, I think, Kas's last stand. Custer's last stand, if you will, but it's not going to be effective. There's just too many Zerglings here, and they're just going to rip through these Marines. I mean, there's just no hope. There's no hope at all. The Marines are out of there. And now we have an Ultralisk Cavern on the way, Adrenal Glands, and 3-3 beginning here for the Zerg player, or I should say 3-2. So things are getting really out of hand now for Kas, but he still hasn't given up. I'll give him credit for that. He's 118 under 146 supply, so in a way, the supply counts have started to get a little bit closer, although I can't help but feel that, oh my god, that the Marines once again picked off by Baneling detonations. But I was going to say, although I can't help but feel that I think the little one's just waiting to get Ultras out on the field. And yeah, there are 3 Ultras now on the way. And we'll see how these Marines like Ultralisks. I mean, they're already having problems with Marines and they're already having problems with Zerglings and Banelings. But once Ultras hit the field, I think it's a whole new ball game. I think the little one now is probably going to organize his forces for a frontal assault. I do like how Kas has gotten another expansion back here in the bottom left-hand corner. And he is still continuing to make these attacks happen, really persevering, you know, through thick and thin, but it's, I think once these Ultras come, it's probably going to spell disaster for Empire.Kas. Widow Mines just randomly detonating all over the place here, and here's the first Ultralisk making its presence known. These Marines don't even want to mess with this Ultra, man. And the Ultra is in the fight now, and the mine does detonate, but the Ultra is just like, he doesn't even care. It's like, come for more. I'm hungry for Marines. And here comes a Zerg attack. It looks like the little one knows about the expansion in the bottom left-hand corner. Looking at the resources lost tab, I will say it is amazing that Kas has been able to, you know, it's pretty close. In fact, the little one has lost more than Kas has, which I'm totally surprised at that number. I don't know how that's even possible, but the tech disadvantage here is quite apparent. Ultras and Infestors, and the Terran has nothing but Marines and Medevacs. He doesn't have Siege Chains, he doesn't have, you know, anything at tier 3, and I think the GG has been called, so the little one gets the victory at the end of the day, 3-1. I hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you did, check me out on my YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD Starcraft. And if you guys have any sick replays, feel free to send them in to me at hdreplays@gmail.com. For now, this is HD, and I am signing out.